my ranking BL series of 2024. This video might be late, but I'd like to be transparent with you on which BL series stood out for me last year. In this video, I will be listing down my ranking of 10 BL dramas in accordance with my preference. This time around, it's not based on technicalities but rather on which I think I enjoyed the most. We might share some similarities in ranking, but let's take note that everyone has different preferences, especially in BL dramas. Without further ado, let's get started. Number 10 on my list, Tempo. This list was originally just 9 since there's only a few which I think stood out among the rest throughout the whole year. But I decided to include a number 10 spot between Tempo and Spare Me Your Mercy since both of them are BL dramas I haven't finished yet but I truly like. In the end, Tempo won my heart even though it wasn't finished airing yet. With 3 episodes in, I immediately love the characters, especially Tame and Po. Their chemistry is beyond my imagination and I never expected them to have that connection on screen. Est has been one of my underrated actors in the industry, and since Love by Chance season 2, his chemistry with his then partner was also outstanding. Like I said in my previous video, this GMMTV BL feels like the most un-GMMTV series I have ever seen because it wasn't like any other GMMTV shows in the past. I just hope that my intuition about this series would be correct and the entire series would have a great plotline. Number 9 on my list, 4 Minutes. I must say that this one is the most misunderstood BL series of 2024 just because of its plot. I'd actually like to commend those people behind this series because they are trying new plot that's not very common in the industry. But it isn't perfect and actually has a lot of flaws. Although this series ended up in my top list of BL dramas, the writing wasn't the best and it could have been more improved by explaining what's really happening in the show. I understand that the series is its mystery genre, but that's one reason why some fans could not understand what was happening at all between the characters. Anyway, the overall story was still a great show and I hope that the next season would have more impact to the audience. Number 8 on my list, Only Boo. You might be raising your eyebrows because of what I'm putting in this list, but Only Boo is one of my personal favorites this year. It's true that sometimes I'm getting bored with school-based BL dramas, especially if it's only about the romance, but there's something about this series that I couldn't ignore. It's probably their chemistry, which I was not expecting to love all throughout the whole show. Its plot was simple and yet it captured my attention from beginning to end, and that reminded me of what I loved from my school president. Anyway, this series is on my 8th spot, and whether you'd watch it based on my ranking, it's all up to your preference too. Number 7 on my list, Love for Love's Sake. One of the Korean BL dramas which managed to catch my attention ever since I laid my eyes on it was Love for Love's Sake. To be honest, it's also a simple plot series with a twist on its own. The fantasy genre was really an icing on the cake, but it was still a nice addition because it gave an identity to the whole series. Talking about their chemistry, I was definitely surprised that they could pull this off, especially whenever there's a confrontation with the 3 main characters. If it's only about simplicity with a touch of being unique too, then Love for Love's Sake is a great series to watch. Number 6 on my list, Our Youth. 2024 is filled with a lot of great Japanese BL dramas, although there are only 2 of them which I deeply connected with as I watched. One of those was Our Youth, and although I was not really expecting it to be a great series, it managed to surpass my expectations of it. The finale episode isn't released yet, but the overall look of this show was definitely on the level of something I would watch again in the future. But what I truly love about this series is the chemistry of the main actors. Both have great visuals and their dynamics added an interesting part of their story. Number 5 on my list, Happy of the End. I truly consider this BL series as one of the best Japanese BL drama that I have ever seen. It didn't just focus on the romance part since it was just barely, but the overall theme made a mark on me as a person. Their story was something different and yet it felt so much genuine even though it was a dark themed show. For their chemistry, I must say that I liked the couple from our youth more, but the main couple of this series was still great because of their acting skills. Number 4 on my list, Unknown. My top 4 are definitely the hardest ranking I have done this year, probably due to them being so good when I first watched it. Although Unknown is ranked as number 4, I can say that it's one of the BL dramas this year that made me finish it in one sitting. As someone who gets easily bored, that's quite a feat considering that most BL dramas I have seen in 2024 were somehow lackluster in one way or another. The chemistry is great in this series, although that depends whether you'd like a plot like this or not. Overall, Unknown is one of the highlights in the BL industry of 2024. Number 3 on my list, Love in the Big City. As a series that mainly revolves around the life of the main character, this could easily be seen as a boring show, but thankfully the storytelling and its execution were done on a high note. Of course, there were some aspects where I felt that the story was so heavy that I almost dropped it before even finishing it, but at the same time I was looking forward to seeing what would be the future of the main character in the series. This drama somehow focused on the romance in the most part, but it was only a part of the development of the character which made this so much amazing. Number 2 on my list, The Only One. Oftentimes, this is viewed as one of the most overrated BL series of the year, and some fans even said that the main couple did not have any chemistry at all, which I highly disagree with. To be honest, this is one of the few BL dramas of the year which made me so much excited for a new episode every week. The chemistry of Sheng Wang and Zhang Tian was incredibly strong even before they even had any romantic scenes together. Although I must say that the finale could have been better. This decision might be because of a possible sequel which could happen in the distant future. Number 1 on my list, My Stand-In. Some of you might question me, why did I put this series on my number 1 spot, but for me, this is the BL drama that I enjoyed the most this year. The toxic relationship of the main couple was hard to watch at times, but it's also one of the reasons why I kept watching it. I was anticipating on how the story would fix the mess they made, and that's what I got in the finale. Even though I was kinda disappointed that Joe did not get his original body back. As a fantasy series, this one truly hit the mark in a lot of categories. Be it with their chemistry or its storytelling, My Stand-In is definitely my favorite among them all. Which BL dramas of 2024 are included on your ranking this year? Thank you for watching. That's it, and see you on the next one.